You hear me? Let me just get this up on the screen. You good? It's just getting chat hooked up. All right. That'll work. So, you guys, can you hear me all right? You can see all my reloading stuff over here. You guys ever use Reloader 22? It's good for long action cartridges. We should probably actually take that off. This is YouTube after all, huh? So this is probably the question you want answered right there. Just removing all of the GUN paraphernalia so I don't get sued by the YouTube police. So, 1 year anniversary for TTC. And that's not just me, but I did start the channel one year ago. And since it's grown to 3 of us working on it, I'll pull back the curtain right now. The third one, channel, is just my wife. She runs the channel, does some of the editing, you know. There we go. It's a little bit better. So, some announcement and also some questions for you guys. And that is Astro tools. They are pretty local to us, maybe 15 minutes away. Visit their repair center often. We had a viewer send in a Mako air tool maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, and we busted it up. It stopped working at a Mako air tool. So we went in, we have an account there, we buy parts, and we couldn't figure out how to put it back together or why it was messing up. Shot some footage. They were kind of wondering why we're shooting footage. And then got it back to the person, the viewer of the channel who lent it to us. Very nice guy. He was happy that we figured out what was wrong with it. But since I've developed a relationship with Astro Tools, and that's who we borrowed that large Skidmore for the 1-inch IR episode. And basically, I'm going to be taking a position at Astro Tools, and I want to know what you guys think for the future of the channel. Should we stop making content? Should we stop making content that relates to Astro Tools? Should we just cancel the channel altogether and delete it? Focus on tools that Astro doesn't make? Or maybe at the beginning of each video explain my position at Astro and, you know, disclose any inherent bias that's obviously going to exist going forward. One sec. So, these are sort of your options here. Probably can't read that. Sorry if that's too small, guys. But I'll kind of go over what I'm thinking, and it'll be up to you guys. Basically, at the end of the day, I'm doing this for my family. It's job security. I want to be able to make tools, not just ugga-dugga in front of a camera sometimes. So we can keep making content, but disclose that basically gonna have an inherent bias that I can't remove. The dyno is gonna be pretty obvious about what beans they make, but at the end of the day, you could say we're doing something behind the camera to make them perform better. We can keep making content, but avoid anything made by Astro, which maybe that's a good idea. We have shot quite a bit of footage on a few Astro tools that I haven't put on the channel because I've been waiting for this 1-year anniversary to make a decision. I've mentioned a few times in the comments that we're waiting until the channel is a year old to consider outside sponsorships or partnerships or, you know, stuff like that. Not with tool brands, obviously, but with like NordVPN and the like. Astro doesn't care what I do. I can start reading some of your guys' questions. Sorry about that. I can start. Astro doesn't care what I do. I can delete the channel, keep making content. Some of my videos that we have posted and are going to post aren't going to make Astro tools look very good. That's my fourth point. We can stop making content but post videos footage we've already shot. And that includes some tools that are going to bump down some Astro tools as well. And the people who have loaned me these tools, Powerstroke Jude, shout out to YouTube channel Powerstroke Jude, and huge shout out to CP the Tool Addict. If you guys have not seen CP the Tool Addict's channel, you can often find us in the comment section of his Friday live streams, but cool guy. He loaned us his Mac Tools High Torque. Our Tool Truck High Torque series footage we've already shot is planning to bust up the rank chart pretty heavily. So that fourth option is we post the videos and footage we've already shot, many of which are going to bump down some Astro tools. And there are some Astro items that we've tested that are not related to impact wrenches. The lights we already made videos for, but since then I've reserved anything that's Astro, put it in a folder, and since considering this, I don't know, transition, the end of the channel, whatever you want to call it, have stopped posting anything Astro related. So that includes an Astro ball joint press. When I made a ball joint press video testing, you guys mentioned your top 6 or so, which I can tell you guys which ones we bought. That's like OTC was maybe the number 1. Maybe Snap-on's probably the number 1 requested. Purchase that. OTC is probably number 2 requested. Purchase that. Then the Astro OEM tools, and we did the large ones and the small ones. Tested them all already, but since it includes an Astro, which you guys, I don't know, probably commented 15 to 20 times, I've been putting that off. I can show you the footage or make another episode about it, but at the end of the day, this is your guys' channel, right? You know, we stand in front of the torque dyno, we pull the trigger on these things, but it's your channel. We want to cut through the BS, and you know, me working for a company like Astro is probably just going to add some BS to that. At the end of the day, I got a little one with another one on the way, and this channel breaks even, or maybe a couple $100s a month, but buying these tools isn't cheap, and it kind of just keep things level. Our plan, for the first year at least, was every single dollar we make, you're going to see on screen. So it's not like I'm living high on the hog. Not that every YouTube creator is either poor or rich, but the prospect of making tools has always appealed to me, and it doesn't seem like Astro has much of a bad rep in that regard. But I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. In the coming, they structured it a few months ago. They offered this position and didn't take them up on it, but I wanted to wait till a year, and the channel's a year today, to make that decision, let you guys know. And the word's kind of getting around. Several people at the Air Tool facility know that I'm Torque from Torque Test channel, that I started this channel, what I'm doing. And I saw an email Astro responded to today. People are starting to ask questions too. So I think this is as good time as any to ask you guys what you want to do. I'm going to start reading some comments and questions from you guys right now. I don't want to just talk at you. So Lucas says, number 1, we aren't born yesterday and therefore should understand the bias exists. Yeah, so a disclaimer is obviously going to be important. This is something I talked to with Philly Fixed a lot. Philly Fixed, Jim, is a great guy. If you haven't checked out Philly Fixed channel, honestly, subscribe to them before you subscribe to us. But I talked to Jim about this a lot, and a lot of channels do get free tools, which we don't bag on. We think that is important because not everyone can spend $1,000 a week on tools to show you guys. And so we think as long as you're telling your viewers where that's coming from and being upfront about it, I don't really see the problem with it. So that is an option. We can keep making content even on episodes that don't feature Astro but disclose, you know, Torque is working there. There's a sixth option. I could leave TTC. I've talked to Test about this, but he's not very savvy with editing, voiceover, publishing, doesn't have a lot of time, and he kind of stands in front of the dyno and does a lot of the testing, but I'm not sure if he's up to running the channel or not. You guys let me know if that's a preference. Astro makes great tools, okay. Number one, dude, don't leave. Keep making content. 1 year of unbiased testing and no BS is track record enough. I mean, that's the idea. Hopefully that's why what I do comes across as, you know, something bankable as an employee, but who knows? My background is working on cars, working in a pit crew for cars, and engineering. We also have Tess on the channel whose background is 18 years as automotive service tech every day in a dealership. So we've been combining that to test tools for you guys, and hopefully that's something you like. Get the Thor Impact in Canada. I mean, yeah, that's probably something we should focus on right out the gate is where are these tools? We have one, but we know we tried to get another one, have not been able to. Even Astro says they don't have one. Will Astro tools give you creative freedom with whatever results you get, or will there be repercussions? I've already discussed this with the president about what we'd be able to show and do, and, you know, does it matter if I delete the channel or if I show on the next episode something that absolutely dusts them? And if anything, they're sort of excited at that prospect. The product department at Astro seems to be all about showing the beans. If you'll notice on the 1894, they advertise, I don't know what it is, 940 foot-pounds, and say compare to nut busting. I think they like what we're doing so far, but we do have some footage in episodes where their tools get bumped down from the ranking, which no one there knows yet, so maybe that's a discouraging aspect for them. Let's see. I'm going to read some more comments. Sorry, guys. Oh, CP the Tool Addict. More Astro Tool vids. Guys, that's CP. You got to click on him, follow him. He's great. Go see Chad, doing good stuff. Chad, I talked to CP this morning about this, and he says do even more Astro tools because you can get them now. I'll leave that up to you guys, but I think it would have to be on, you know, types of dynos we've already created. We've already shot footage on the Big Nasty, for instance, the 4980 on a dyno we created long before this sort of hurdle we're doing right now. And I've also shot some other impact wrenches of Astros that I haven't shown yet because of this obviously implicit bias. Shane, go ahead and at me, guys, so that I can see if you're asking me a question. I think you can be an employee of Astro and still provide unbiased reviews. I mean, that's the hope, right? God, we don't want to be shills. You guys can probably tell that I've been pussyfooting around the idea of being a shill channel, and that's just a stupid, silly rule we made in the beginning. We don't get free stuff. We don't, you know, we go buy the tools ourselves, and we're gonna continue to do that. I guess unless we test an Astro tool, but we're gonna continue to only buy tools. Every single tool you've seen on this channel, every single one, is either provided so far by a viewer, you guys, who we vet, we make sure isn't a brand, which sounds silly at this point, and two, we purchased every single one of these. That's why our bank account balance usually stays around zero, because we post a video and you guys watch it a lot, and then the money we get from that we go and spend on tools that we've always wanted and you guys want to see. Sorry, I'm still catching up with these questions. What if your test method for Astro tools is different from their internal? Oh, it is. It is. Who do you think we borrowed the huge Skidmore from? We don't really love Skidmores, and we've gotten some heat in the emails about this. Not even from Skidmore. I don't even know if they've got an internet connection. They're an old school company, but tool brands are not super stoked that we take a bolt and put it on some cheap Harbor Freight hydraulic presses, tighten it, and then call it some amount of torque. We've now found 5 different methods that impact wrench manufacturers use for measuring torque. 3 of them use a Skidmore, 2 of them use a Skidmore the old traditional way. So our methods absolutely don't match Astro tools. And you'll notice that because the 1894, which is one of, maybe it is the top tool, which is maybe not going to stay there for long, guys, made 810 or 820. Well, they say it makes 940. So obviously our methods don't match theirs. It just matches a old school early 90s, late 80s Ingersoll Rand 231H, which I think is sort of the standard for a tool making 450, but that's up to your guys. If you have creative freedom, just go option 1 and disclose your position with them, okay? Linus Tech Tips has the same sort of thing, but on an investment path. All you have to do is disclose your position. Graphs don't care. So that's the thing is, consistency is key. That's a great point you make, Matteo. I don't know, Machio. Consistency is key. If anything were to change about the dyno, and we do calibrate it with the 231H each day before testing, if anything changes about the consistency of the tools we test, all of our data becomes garbage. You know, if we got this rigid and their next one comes out and we didn't make sure the dyno is calibrated to the way we did it day 1, and that one makes 900, that's us saying it makes more than this, and a bunch of people who buy that tool are going to be like, I own the last one and you're wrong. So that's obviously not the goal. Can you offer multiple types of dynos to compare the results between the way it's tested, one on the dyno chart? No one dyno is the chart. Yeah, so that's maybe something you guys let us know if that's something you want to see. Obviously we're going to have access to traditional testing methods. So that's a great point, Carl. There is no one answer to what torque is. We're just trying to relate it back to an old school process that, I mean, to be honest, in the 80s and 90s, no one was questioning the torque numbers on these tools. And then all of a sudden in 2001, Ingersoll Rand came out nut busting on their first TI Max, and numbers went from 700 to 11 and 1200 all of a sudden. So there were a period of 15, 20 years where impact wrenches were not 800 or 850 or 900 or 950 foot-pounds. It skipped from about 650 up to 1150 just in the course of a year with the invention of nut busting. So we can compare versus what traditional tool manufacturers have shown. Consistency and keep the level of transparency, says that the Big Mike you have given us so far. That's the idea. I'm open to leaving this channel. I don't want anything we've posted to be tainted. It could be as like a record people reference in the future, whatever you guys want. I mean, we want to bring consistency, but obviously we can avoid Astro tools, or I'm going to be cashing a check from the very company we would be comparing. So that's CP says, congratulations on 60K. Thank you, CP. Yeah, pretty fortuitous. The 1-year anniversary, also 60K. I understand if some of you guys want to unsubscribe, that's not, I wasn't in this for making money or anything like that. I just wanted to show the beans, guys. Have you ever considered using a torque wrench transducer to calibrate the dyno instead of another wrench? Absolutely. We shot some footage on torque sticks. We're still shooting footage on torque sticks, and on that series we use a torque wrench because on torque sticks you're aiming for an exact foot-pound figure, not comparing impact wrenches to each other. So absolutely, the torque wrench aspect we will use for certain things. I'm testing some tools right now made by Snap-on and Mac that is supposed to work to a certain amount of foot-pounds. So since it's not an impact tool, we're going to be using a torque wrench on the dyno instead of our traditional method. Matteo says number one is by far the best option. Oh, all right, change the name to Bean Best Channel, Bean Test Channel. You know, I've had a lot of questions, and even from my wife, why is it called Torque Test Channel? You guys work on stuff that isn't even torque related. You'll be seeing we've made a couple dynos. There's a actually it's for drills. I'll just tell you guys now. It's for cordless drills. I mean any drill you put on it really, and that has somewhat to do with torque, but not really the beans we're talking about traditionally, and has nothing to do with Astro. And then Philly Fixed and I are all working on a new category, OPE type tools. That's putting manufacturer claims versus those actual specs, and that has nothing to do with torque either. So maybe not a great name for a channel, but then again, Project Farm doesn't do a lot of farming, so I think we'll be all right. There's a reason you have a big group of people following you. Sorry, can't read. Thanks. Shane Andrews, this is a genuine threat. You shut the channel down that I send Eric O and Big Clive to your house. Yeah, Eric's a great guy. Put your dyno in the Skidmore in the same graph. The problem with, I mean, there's a long list of problems with Skidmores. Don't get us started. But they can't graph anything. You, as a company, choose the test length in time. Traditionally doesn't exceed 15 seconds, but you can go anywhere in between. You put it on there for that, let's say 10 seconds, and at the end, it gives you a number of bolt tension pounds that you put into a calculator instead of calibrating on the actual Skidmore. I don't know why. And you get a figure. So there's no way to graph, unfortunately, which is why we came up with that silly expensive gauge. That gauge that we use is like $550, but we can export data out of it and use it for torque across the graph. Don't stop making videos. Okay, I mean, I could stop making videos too. That's fine. Happy anniversary, TTC. You can use the same gauge on the Skidmore. That's true. I mean, we just did, I guess, on the 1-inch impact wrench series, and that sort of worked. I think due to the amount of hydraulic fluid into it, we need a damper on the gauge because it fluctuates too much. But then again, the results we get on a real Skidmore won't be matching everything we've done on the channel so far, so it wouldn't be that great. Also, we have like 15 to 20 bolts of forward and reverse that we change out. And I think on a Skidmore, if you just beat it up every single day like we do, that thing would get pretty worn down and out of spec. We're able to change out the bolts unlike you can on a Skidmore, really. Did you test Aero Pro? If that's a torque, I mean, if that's an impact wrench manufacturer, no, we have not. If that is a air fitting, like the 3-way air swivel, that's really expensive. Yes, we have. We just haven't shown it. TTC, your channel's on par with AVE, and no, it's not. Got the AVE Canadian tongue translation. Okay, congratulations. Oh, thanks, Jonda. Oh, Jonda, shout out to Jonda. He sent us, I think, more than one impact wrench. Jonda, you the man. These are real people that we borrow tools from. They don't just pop out of thin air. Thanks for what you guys do, pushing through the marketing and giving us real data. So I'm gonna be working on product department for Astro Tools, and I've come to learn they don't have a marketing department. And like, oh, you know that meme where you just have the fingers go over your face and you're just so relieved? No marketing department Astro Tools, probably because they make tools for other companies. But I have a feeling that any results that come off of stuff I help on will just be translated into actual spec sheets rather than filtered through some marketing company. I don't know. We've gotten some inquiries. I'm going to get to your guys' questions more in a second. We've had some inquiries on the channel from companies asking us to test their tools. And early on, I think I mentioned this in a recent comment on the DeWalt 850B video. We've done that, but as of late, maybe the last 4 or 5 months, 3 or 4 months, any brand that competes with Astro that's asked us to test their stuff, we've kind of ghosted them. So companies like Vim, really sorry for not responding to you. It's just I foresee a conflict of interest if we were to start testing competitors of Astro's tools, giving them information that they're using to develop their products, and then going shacking up with their competition. So it's not very kosher. So sorry for ghosting you, companies. If you can make your original rig stronger by using a 2-inch block instead of 1-inch. Bolt length is a big factor, isn't as big a factor as you might think. Bolt length is a factor as a function of diameter, but we can't make our rig a lot stronger with the faceplate. It's currently an inch and a quarter thick, which seems to be strong enough up to 1,300 pounds or so. And past that, our dyno's not very accurate anyways. Past 1,200 foot-pounds, we need to be using big dyno anyways, so no point in upgrading our existing one. Here's, by the way, I don't know if you guys can see, but here is the options. Sorry. I'm not holding this in the right place. So, I don't know. I wish I could put it on screen or something. I'm not super tech savvy, as you guys can tell. I'm not responsible for all the editing. Any chance of a torque test channel and channel face reveal? No, I'm not a celebrity. Will you test air ratchets? Let me answer your question in a second about air ratchets, but let me go over the options again. Keep making content, but disclose an inherent bias. If I'm associated with Astro, it's unavoidable. Keep making content, but nothing Astro, and this includes anything Astro makes, which I would have a list of. Keep making content, but nothing of similar category. Impact wrenches are going to be right out. You just watched an 850B video. I mean, hopefully you did, but it has a lot of views. I assume you did. Astro doesn't make impact drivers. We could head into impact drivers. They don't make anything similar. I've had multiple rigs in the works for the last several months on tools that are not in Astro's wheelhouse. So at least 3 categories of tools, dyno rigs I've been working on that are not related to anything Astro makes, with a lot of cutting through the BS marketing results so far. Like, people put crazy numbers on stuff that doesn't have to do with only impact wrenches. Option number 4, stop making content, but post videos footage that we've already shot. There's some new #1 ranked tools. Astro tools may get booted from the top spot, which is, I mean, I'm just telling you that's about to happen, but people have lent us their tools and we've told them results already. So CP the Tool Addict, Powerstroke Jude, 2 other guys who've had really high performing tools they've lent us. We've already told them results. We were going to put it on the channel, but it's footage we've shot already. We could just upload that and then call it a day, stop uploading altogether. And number 5 is just, you know, I'm out, which is fine. I think I'm gonna save this live stream, read all the comments. If I'm only getting a snapshot looking at your comments so far, guys. So if everyone's like, we need someone else to start doing this, someone else needs to pick up the torch, that's fine. You know, I wanted a career at the end of the day rather than just, you know, wrenching on cars. So that's fine too. People are saying option 1. So I'm going to get back to that question about cordless and air ratchets. I'm happy other channels are testing them for torque, but there's 2 reasons we don't show you footage of testing air ratchets and cordless ratchets, which we have tested. 1, the test length is half a second. You pull the trigger and it's like, yeah, and it makes 30, 40, 45 foot-pounds. Our dyno is actually very sensitive. If you turn the socket by hand, it'll register 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 foot-pounds. So it is sensitive enough to register it. It's not very entertaining. It would be, I mean, we could do a hashtag short or something, but we would be spending several $100s in ratchets to provide you guys with less than a minute of footage. And 2, they're nut runners, guys. I mean, I've been working on cars since I was 12. I've never used a cordless or air ratchet to break a nut free. You break it free with the tool itself. You push on it, you break it free, and then you pull the trigger. If you're using a cordless air ratchet or air ratchet to break a nut free, then you're seeing stuff a lot less tight than I am. #1, if Astro has a problem, they'll have to step it up. Yeah. I mean, I'm not in a position to tell everyone Astro how to make stuff yet, but maybe someday, right? Community poll, says Arisaka. That's a good idea. I didn't want to just put this as a community tab post and just be like, YOLO guys, like I'm out, I'm gonna go catch the big checks, you guys have fun on YouTube. I wanted to talk to you guys and see what you thought and answer your questions. Option number one, you can always leave Astro, but NDA and non-compete clauses could throw a wrench into the mix. Huh. I'm pretty sure in California, which is where I live, by the way, that's Astro's SoCal Repair Center is in the LA area, 15 minutes away from me. That's who we've been getting parts from, fixing air tools that we mess up. But I'm in California, which I think you can't have those anymore. You can't have someone sign something when you leave a company that you can't compete with them anymore here. It's kind of hard to cheat on the kind of data collection, so bias schmias. Well, that was the idea at the beginning, is, you know, robotic as we like to come across. I have bias. Tess has, I have DeWalt bias from being 8 years old building cabinets with my dad to 18, 19 when I stopped working, doing woodworking. Test has salty Milwaukee bias. And Channel is my wife, guys, so she doesn't really care either way. But that's why you didn't see DeWalt for, I don't know, 6 months on the channel, is no one trusted me to not give it a fair shake. Which is why I created the Dyno, because the Dyno honestly doesn't care what you're holding up against to it. It just cares about the beans. And that's kind of a beautiful thing about it, because we are more often than not proved wrong with whatever assumption we go into. Bigfoot says, number 2, keep making content but nothing Astro. That'd be fine too. We've shot content of ball joint presses and air hammers of Astro. So we could show footage of stuff we've already tested, show it like just Dropbox unedited, or I don't know how you guys want to see it, but there's a gauge attached to the things we're impacting on. Yeah, well, anyways, we've already tested some Astro tools that are going to be included, what was planned for the ball joint press series and the air hammer series, because everyone and their mother was asking for a 4980 Big Nasty, and that thing nearly killed our freaking setup. So I've wanted to show that, but it's fine if we don't. Up to you guys. Arsika says, community poll after the stream is over to better get a feel of yours. Yeah, I would hope they would watch this video first, because if we just said we're selling out, do you guys like it, they might just knee-jerk vote something. But in the comments of this video too, we're going to be reading all these. If honestly, if the majority of people say stop making content, that's what we're going to do. There's not a lot of money so far in this. I mean, if we did this for 3-4 years, I imagine the channel would be making decent profit, but right now, not leaving any money on the table by saying sayonara if we do. Maybe I showed up too late, but what's all this talk about? Astro, pneumatic tool company, Astro Tools. Let me revisit this, guys. Sorry. There's only 270 of you, which is a lot, but I'm sure not all of you have joined me from the beginning. We visited Astro's local repair center, which is they repair IR, they repair Matco, and they repair Astro. And by using and borrowing the Skidmore and everything else, they've pretty much figured out who TTC is, who yours truly, Torque, is, and offered me a position at the company, a new position sort of on product team. And that was quite a while ago. So we waited till a year anniversary of the channel to make a decision. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I could leave the channel and it would leave Test by himself. Again, I haven't talked to him, but he's mainly just a nut and bolt guy. He doesn't really mess around with this YouTube thing. Dwayne says, I've based a couple of purchases on the information on this channel. It's your decision. YouTube does not pay your bills. That is correct. They do not pay my bills. Especially split 2 ways. Keep testing tools, including Astro, and if anyone is worried about bias, you can throw an over-the-top tongue-in-cheek bias warning. It doesn't even need to be tongue-in-cheek. I need to give you guys, if I make future videos, heads up about this affiliation regardless. As long as you still buy Astro tools from whatever online store like the rest of us, I mean, that will feel silly if I do. And I don't know how you guys would believe me that I purchased it. Let me know in the comments how that would happen. I would show you guys a receipt. I don't know. Let me know. Just keep making videos. The Dyno doesn't lie. That's the idea. We'll see what options are on paper. Oh, sorry. I'll go over the options really quick for you guys. Keep making content, but disclose an inherent bias in every video. And anything concerning anything Astro makes, which is where I'm working. Keep making content, but nothing Astro or Astro made is an option 2. Keep making content, but nothing of a similar category. No impact wrenches. I've had multiple testing rigs of the last several months for tools that are not in Astro's wheelhouse, but you would lose those ugga-dugga beans. Number 4, stop making content, but post the videos of footage you've already shot. That includes Astro losing spots because of more better, powerful, just better impact wrenches. And 5, stop making content altogether and or delete the channel. Let me know what you guys want me to do. 1 or 2, 1. Keep posting. If anything, Astro, just make a note. Bought the Makita mid-torque because of you. The Makita mid-torque and I have a love affair. I haven't used, until this channel, Makita since it was just, all my Makita tools were white. You know, 18-volt LXT with the white ones, the sort of smaller size drill drivers, and they were meh at best. So the next thing that got me to invest in Makita was this channel, and I think everyone who was there while I was testing and Test was testing, and every time we pick up a Makita impact wrench, we're pretty surprised. So been getting more and more in love with Makita. Their impact driver is not an example of that. Makita reached out to us as a channel, full disclosure, and wanted to sort of bankroll what we're doing and just give us all of their product and line out future video. And we're like, no, we're not doing that. But could you answer a couple technical questions? You know, like, you love us so much that Makita NA, you want to get in bed with us. Could you answer these couple technical questions? And then we never heard from again. Just test machines that your viewers send you. That's not a bad idea. For anything Astro, we could just take stuff from viewers, and those are real people in the comments that could say, hey, that's mine. That's a great suggestion. Delete the channel, it's the only way. Dynamic power. Damn you, dynamic power. You know what? Your air hammer wasn't bad, but your impact wrench, oh man, that is the worst thing these hands have ever touched. Number 1, are you kidding? Oh, we love you, dude. Thanks. The Big Mike says, as far as I know, you've done nothing thus far to create doubt, and generally people are pretty rabid about trying to call out flawed testing. That's why we're trying to get in front of this. I mean, maybe we're not even getting in front of this. There's maybe a dozen people know that we're TTC and locally, and I'm sure it's getting around. So thank you. It's nice to see a bean versus bean comparison off the tool shelves. Yeah, that's the idea of the channel. We'll try to do that. Option 1, if Astro begins to have problem, then drop them from tests. Yeah. I would hope you'd trust us if we told you Astro had a problem, or if Astro had a problem that we'd tell you at all. But it's hard to prove that. TTC viewers poll here, 1 and 5, go. Yeah. S, B, and B. So 1 through 5, guys. 1, let me know so I can frickin' see this later and don't have to read every single view. Hit me, just let it out, guys. 1, keep making content, disclose inherent bias. 2, keep making content, nothing Astro. 3, keep making content, no impact wrenches, because Astro makes impact wrenches, or anything they make of a similar category. That includes ball joint presses and air hammers that we've recently tested. 4, stop making content, but post the videos footage that we've already shot. That's fine. 5, you know, I'm a head out. Let me know, guys. Look, you guys are being too nice, though. But back to the questions. I get it. 1. I'm going to leave this up, though, so people in the comments who are not rabid fans who tune in as soon as Torque Test posts something can maybe bring some harsh realities our way. I hate the New England Patriots. Love you already. Torque Test channel. Number 1, everyone loves the channel. You've done above mainstream credibility. Yeah, I mean, we're about to shoot ourselves in the foot with that credibility, but I thank you. I appreciate that. Are Astro tools the same as the ones they supply name brands? Uh, if I'm legally allowed to say that, I will tell you as soon as I can. I don't know if I'm allowed to speak on that or not, and I don't know the answer. I think we have plenty of overwhelming result that people want. Yeah, we'll see. What's selling out? They would be giving me checks to work on Astro tools. That's and previously we were getting checks from YouTube and spending it on tools. So now it would be checks from Astro, but spending it on my family. Do you guys have a sponsorship now? No. This is the 1 year anniversary of the creation of TTC. This isn't 1 year since we posted our first video. That's in another month or so. But 1 year I created this. Do we have a sponsorship? No. I promised that in the first year I would say no to sponsorships, partnerships, affiliations, anything like that. But also say no to free product and product placement. And then I've also mentioned in the comments a few times, after this channel is a year old, I will consider outside partnerships like NordVPN or stuff that's not associated with tools. And that's why we're having this live broadcast right now, because Astro Tool is associated with tools, and that's obviously a different route than we had planned. No longer really planning on doing, sponsorships for the channel if I'm going to have a career in tools that don't really need to get money from YouTube. Big Mike says, to be honest, it would be likely been easy to hide your employment Astro, assuming someone within, I guess that I've talked to a few people on Instagram very late in this decision making process. Sorry about that. About this decision. And a few have mentioned, why do you need to disclose where you work? It's no one's business. But that's true if it wasn't a tool company. So we will see. Belts and Boxes says, got here late, and you could recap the overall issue. Did you get a job? Rob, you're the man. I was talking to Rob, waxing poetic recently in the emails about how many companies have offered us honey pots to feature their product or send us product, and we said no, 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 no. And that was a original decision made just for the sake of the channel, but also Astro Pneumatic Tool Company, Astro Tools, offered TTC me to work a position at the company several months ago, and decided I would wait a year before figuring out if that's the career path I want to do. But I do want to make tools, and so I'm letting you guys know that. And there's options here. You guys decide what happens to the channel, which goes from we keep making content but disclose where I'm working. I could divorce myself from TTC and Test can run this from now on, but I'm not sure if he's up to doing that. All the way down to just, I'm a head out. And in between is keep making content, but nothing Astro related. They make impact wrenches, hand tools, specialty tools. And of everything they make, I'm told impact wrenches are 5% of the company's sales. So it does have to do, the stuff we test does have to do with what they sell, but luckily we don't test a lot of specialty tools, conflict of interest wise. Belts and Boxes, but you and Tess and your wife channel own the channel. Yes. I started the channel. It's currently split 3 ways, but one of those is my wife. But there's not a lot to split yet because we spent it all on tools, but that was the idea in the future. Cody Man says, you should check out the link on the dynamic power impact these days. The description is fixed, but now the picture is a wine aerator. Oh my gosh. Cody Man, you made my day. I want to just stop this live stream to go check that out. So we tested a dynamic power impact wrench, I don't know, a few months into this channel's beginning, and it was the cheapest full-size impact wrench, and it was advertised as a wine aerator. All of its features were wine aerators, and we got it, and it was just a terrible impact wrench. But now they've fixed that so that it's talking about and showing a wine aerator. I love that. Belts and Boxes says, last question, if you had the sponsorship to get all 3 of you salaries you need, would you consider doing it full time? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I love testing tools. Tess loves testing tools, but I'd rather have influence over making tools. I don't know. It's not for me. It is about security for my family and stuff, but I don't think it's. If it was honestly just about the dollars, I think we would have taken free product samples and sponsorships and affiliations from day one. And I don't know, it hasn't really been about the money, but obviously as your channel gets bigger it can become about the money. I get that, but to answer your question, Rob, I don't think so. You know, this isn't dynamic power I'd be working for, as Astro. I like that. Can you test using various impacts of wine aerators with a ranking chart? 5 seconds only. I don't know if that's enough to get time to get oxygen in your nice Bordeaux, Carl. That's a good question. Job at Astro will be for fulfilling. Yeah, it would be fulfilling for me. Jim Davis, please don't go. Your efforts remain neutral. Speak for themselves. Just be careful in your dealings with that fully fixed guy. I wouldn't trust anyone named Jim Davis. You know what, Jim? I don't trust you for saying that. Appreciate the answers. We're here for you if you do need anything. We support anything that continues your content creation in any form. Guys, even though Belts and Boxes has removed their sub count, it still means something. Click on Belts and Boxes. Someone post a link. You should subscribe to Belts and Boxes before you subscribe to this channel. Great news channel. They bring a lot of YouTubers together and give you a lot of unbiased data too, regardless of any shirts they're wearing. Can you make a hand tighten test? Yes. An episode I want to work on this week. I was planning on grabbing test, me, a couple guys at the shop with like 40 years experience. I'm talking gray hairs guys, and turn the dyno off, calibrate it for a torque wrench, put a wrench on there and tell them aim for 50 foot-pounds and see if the new greenhorn at work who's been working there for 6 months can hit 50 foot-pounds anywhere close to it, or if the old timers can hit 50 foot-pounds versus testing me. That was maybe just because I want to see it, but let me know if you guys want a video on does the new guy versus someone who's been doing this for 40 years have an idea of what 50 foot-pounds feels like. Good Bad Ugly says that's a good name for his channel. I'd say keep the channel, still test Astro, but disclose it, okay? I still think we need a real poll with option 6, that is carry on and remove bias by only testing viewer supplied Astro. Yeah, let me know in the comments, guys. That's a really good idea, because I was wondering, if we test Astro stuff, how do we prove we bought it? Because obviously we'll have access to, oh my god, so much of it. It's making me drool. But a way around that is we could just get it from viewers who are vetted and be like, yeah, that's mine. That's a great idea. I think if we do any of these that include making more content, we would use that suggestion. It's just too good of a suggestion not to use, so not even needed in a poll. Belts and Boxes says they are a valuable oh, you guys, shucks, stop it. Any idea on how long 1894 will be on back order? I think a long time. That's all I can tell you. I think it's a long time. I've seen on Garage Journal them mention that they're making them as fast as they can, and as soon as they come in, they're gone. I don't have the answer to that. Elizan Doe says, how does Astro feel? It feels pretty good in the hand, guys. You sort of just know once you have it in your hand, it just feels good. It's just a nice feel in the hand. That's how you know when something's good. Tristan says, so long as you're not building extra powerful Astro tools, you are fine. I want to build extra powerful Astro tools. Isn't that what everyone wants to do? I want to figure out why we're not at 2,000 foot-pounds on a half-inch anvil. M12 fuel are underpowered. Depends on that tool you're talking about. The M12 Compact, I think, is one of the best compact impact wrenches, air or cordless, that exists. But that's just me. Llama Llama says, I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of Astro tools showcased. I don't care if people think you sold out and show them. Well, we care. That's why we're making this, but I appreciate your comments. M12 honestly needs a battery update to 21700s. Guys, they don't fit. I see big YouTube content creators talking about how, I'm talking people with 500,000 subscribers in the video saying, We're waiting for that 21700 cell M12 battery. But guys, look inside the handle of an M12. They're not going to fit 21700s in there. It's just, you could put one in, and then that's about it. Space says Astro 3,000 foot 6-inch Astro. Oh, like an impact wrench. I wish I could tell you. Test new DeWalt Power Stack batteries. 12/1/2021. Rob Belts and Boxes will be able to tell you more about that than I can. But as soon as they go on sale, you will see them on the channel because we purchase all of our tools. So we have to wait for them to come out. That won't change. Going forward, we're still going to have to wait for these tools to be sold at the same store. You guys can buy them to purchase them ourselves. We're not going to be, you know, getting stuff from brands, especially now. I think theoretically I'd be a competitor of the. Ben says, number one, keep doing what you're doing. Disclose you're testing a Astro, but trust you're not lying for profit. What is this profit you keep speaking of, guys? Can you do an Astro 3/4 fight on the death with the 1-inch Milwaukee DT handle? I think Astro's 3/4 is like 15 or 20 years old. I'm not sure how interesting that would be. Oh, 3/4 inch impact wrenches. Why haven't we tested 1-inch air and 3/4 inch air? We have. We've tested a Mako 3/4 inch gun and a Harbor Freight 3/4 inch gun. The problem is, even with an 80-gallon compressor and 1-inch cast iron to 3/4 cast iron, that 3/4 inch cast iron plumbed right into a 3/4 inch impact wrench gets like 86 psi in the tool while it's running. That's right, we can't maintain 90 psi dynamic pressure even with an 80-gallon 2-stage IR compressor and 3/4 inch cast iron lines. No regulator, no air hose, just threaded right into the wall. You can't get enough, so that's why we haven't tested those. I think you should showcase some Astro stuff. We already do, not tool testing, but info. Some of the tech and I mean, we don't want to market and advertise for anyone. We just want to show you guys testing mostly. I vote for, and someone will pick up from here. Yeah, that's fine too. Someone else can, you know, we could donate our dyno to a channel we trust if, you know, if that's what you guys want. Does that mean we'll see Pioli wheel guns? Well, I'm not moving to Italy, so believe me, if Pioli offered me a job position, I would have probably moved to Italy, just so I could show you guys an F1 wheel gun on the channel. I worry that the whole discussion will be pointless once you see your employee agreement. Any modern company will muzzle you, even on... So this was already a discussion. We can post whatever we want. And we have videos in the books that are going to kick Astro right off the damn rank chart. And they said thumbs up. So I agree with you, but we'll see. You can't pass your equipment on to someone else. You are the channel. Well, we hope so, but we shall see. But yeah, I mean, up to this point, I've kind of run the show. And if someone else needs to take that over for things to remain on the up and up, that's fine. But that also means if you know, I'm going to be muzzled, that I'm not going to be making content. But I mean, you guys would have to take our word on that, so that's not ideal. With Astros on board, you're only worried about public perception. It's more, yes, to answer your question, the answer is probably yes. But it's more like public putting weight in the numbers we show. So if someone's going to be buying a tool based on the numbers we show, and their coworker buys a tool that we said did worse and it's obviously better, I don't want there to be, well, okay, that's because he works for that tool company that the numbers are BS. I want the numbers, the ranks, to everything to have some sense of, I don't know, credibility or some sense of living outside of our influence. There are plenty of fans who will come to your side and need it. Gotcha. If you're going to continue, I would get everything Astro tells you in writing. Yeah, we've already done that. I love your channel because it isn't staged and you are very clear with results. Thanks. So guys, unless you have a lot of questions, I mean, plan on this stream ending maybe in 10-15 minutes. I don't have anywhere to go, but if you guys have questions, keep shooting them. We have a lot of tools we've purchased that we haven't shown on the channel yet that I would like to show you guys, but again, I'm going to be going over your guys' comments, and if we need to just throw it in the trash, that's fine. If Astro goes on a hike, I'm sure you could come forth with it anyways. I mean, we're going to come forth with it either way, guys. What type of work will you be doing at Astro? Product development is the product development team. Have you tested any of Makita 40-volt impacts? Gunner, I got some good news for you. First of all, check out our history. The 3/4 inch Makita 40-volt XGT is like maybe my favorite cordless tool on the planet right now. That tool is just a bruiser. We've also tested the XGT impact driver in our most recent video, and that's very much on the other end of the spectrum. But we've just purchased the XGT mid-torque 40-volt, and that's definitely going to be something you guys want to see if we continue posting videos. I've made recommendations to customers based on your results. Thanks, Sawyer. Hopefully that was useful. Astro doesn't have a great supply chain. Is it really wise to join them? Astro has a pretty immense supply chain. It's just not under the Astro brand. They make tools for a lot of companies. Matthew says, would you recommend buying into one family of cordless tools or purchasing the best and ending up with a hodgepodge of batteries? We're not the one to ask for that because we have about 38 batteries now, and that's among maybe 9 platforms. So we just grab the best tool that works. I would say don't let battery platform scare you away, because you should pick maybe a top 2 in my opinion. I would pick maybe the ones that do the best for this type of work and the ones that come in second there but do the best for this other type of work. I would. And then you grab the tool you need for the job. You guys are always so shy about buying another battery. I don't know what it is. Any chance of a Torque Test Channel made approved tool from Astro? I mean, that would be the Thor at this point, right? I think part of the 1894, part of the reason you can't find it is our channel. I'm not saying we're the tastemakers in the industry, but it's really hard to find, and I'm guessing we're to thank for that. So that would probably be that tool. Just make a disclosure of your work for a specific tool company. Yeah. That, I mean, hopefully we'll get less emails, guys, from brands wanting to work with us, because we've honestly said no to almost all of them. And hopefully now that we're associated, or I'm associated with Astro, we can stop getting those people asking me questions every day. Ugh, okay. I think you underestimate what valuable consumer resource you've become. Yeah, well, that's the idea. We want to keep that going, but it's up to you guys. I'm talking custom built from you and test. I hear you. I hear you. The future is not predictable. Belts and boxes give sounds advice. I vote for number 1 until your circumstances change. If anything, Rob probably knows more than we do. So, yeah, we might be following that advice. If you're going to leave, want to see your beautiful face first. Guys, I'm not as beautiful as you might assume. These hands are the money makers. Many have commented how good a shape I keep them. And it's moisturizing. You know, you just, every night before bed, put some moisturizer on it, put a glove on, and you protect the money makers. I keep them nice and clean for you guys. A lot of the hands you see are tests. You guys just don't really make that connection. But these right here, I mean, these, I think this is half our subscribers right here. I have 5 different types of battery. God bless you, Paul. We need more people like you who are not afraid to buy different brands. Even if you just do 1 video a month and stop reviewing Astro tools, I think it's important for the industry. Okay. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Any plans from Astro to move into cordless market? I don't know the answer to that. But it would be difficult. There's people doing it really well already, so it wouldn't be my plan. I just got the 1894 in the mail a couple days ago and waiting almost 3 months. Ordered it as soon as it went on sale. Yeah, ours took about 2, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but we did know that it went on to Amazon within a couple hours of when it went on. Is Makita 40 volt tools good for putting on in lag bolts? Yes. Will you start expanding the type of tools you test? From Aiden. Aiden, yes, we are already doing that. We're always doing that. It's just some of the dynos we make are absolute trash, and that's where they go when we're done with them. So, but some of them are decent, and I'm working with one YouTube channel and another guy who's working on a dyno for us to test more tools. Luckily, we had that idea because it has nothing to do with Astro tools, so even if we never posted anything relating to impact wrenches again, it would still work. What comes next in terms of the channel? That's up to you guys. We will honestly do whatever you guys want. Think we'll see a DeWalt 60 volt high torque. You know what, Mike? Don't tease me with that, because, oh god, sometimes I go to bed thinking about a DeWalt 60 volt flex volt high torque. Unfortunately or fortunately, whatever you want to call it, the DCF 900 is going to be the next high torque coming out early next year, and I believe that is 20 volt. So that's not fulfilling our dreams yet. But there's rumors of a bigger class of impact wrench from that SBD family. Maybe that's 60 volt. I don't know the answer to that. I'd be interested in seeing some more corded impacts. I mean, that makes one of you. I can if you guys want. I'm not in love with them. They really beat the hell out of you, but I can. Highly depend on your channel for torque results. Keep up the excellent. Thank you. You guys in Project Farm are the best testers on YouTube. Thanks, Matthew. Would love to see an Astro cordless power tools. I mean, that's... I wouldn't recommend going down that road, but it's not up to me. Torque test branded tools, when? Hopefully never. TTC, what would you guys want us to test? Us, yes. Yeah, we are working on 3 more categories of tools. 2 of them look very promising. One, my first rendition of making the dyno was quite bad, so back to the drawing board on that. But I don't want to tell you guys what the tools are, because then you'll be like, ooh, we get to see those in a few months. And it could just be, I made a really bad testing rig that's not repeatable and I'm never going to show you. I think even doing this live stream, you are providing a lot of transparency, and we should, oh, well, yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of opinions out there, and we want to hear all of them. There's 268 people watching right now. We have 60,000 subscribers. For some reason, you guys are ridiculous. And we want to hear from, you know, the people that get home at the end of work and aren't able to make this live stream, and they count on us for unbiased reviews. If they have, if this is really not sitting well with them, we want to know that. You should do a video on impact sockets to see how much torque they can take before they snap or shatter apart. Gunnar, we've tried doing something like that. It required a step down. Give me 1 second. I have this over here. Oh, we have so many batteries, guys. This is a 1-inch to 1/2-inch impact adapter, and that boy goes on there just like that. And we've tried to test impact sockets to failure, and I want to say 9 out of 10 sockets just don't mind. It's over time that they get brittle, worn out, and break. I don't think it's beans out of the hole on a new impact socket. How many of you guys, I want to know, I haven't in my career, but how many of you guys have put on a brand new impact socket and had immediately a problem with it? Every impact socket I've had that's gotten worn out on the drive end or just cracked, which is usually CRV in my experience, have been really old sockets. So we tried doing this testing with a few different brands of impact sockets, Sonex, Snap-on, Capri, and they just didn't break. So it wasn't very interesting footage for you guys. Gunnar says, I've shattered a few brands of sockets that were brand new. Well, name them in the comments. We're not protecting anyone here. Community posts pointing to the stream with a brief explanation, then pull a few days to a week later. Got you. I'd vote for number 1. Have you tried that O2 sensor impact sockets? They break. Oh, yeah. Okay, Carl. Well, if we're talking about First of all, O2 sensor sockets are not impact rated. So if you're breaking those with an impact, that's why. They're supposed to be used, especially the offset ones. If you're using an impact wrench on an offset socket, you're not understanding physics very much. You're going to break it right in half. But I have broken O2 sensor sockets. They are black, so I understand the confusion, but they are not impact rated. And yeah, I've broken them with a 1/2-inch breaker bar. Yeah, Carl, you break them with breaker bars too. Me too. I've broken Blue Point, Matco. That's it. I thought it was going to be a long list. I've broken Blue Point and Matco O2 sensor sockets. Who puts on an O2 sensor with a high torque? It's removing them, Paul. Putting an O2 sensor on, you could almost do with your fingers. But the heat cycles that go in exhaust, and we're not talking stainless exhaust on OEMs, so these things get rusted to all hell, and they just don't come apart. I don't think it's a big deal that you'll be with Astro. Most of your data is hard numbers. Thanks, Drake. You should do a review of tools sent from suppliers. I mean, it sounds a bit hypocritical, but I don't want to test tools from the brands. I mean, even though I have this laying here, it's a bit stupid to say that. Why can't we donate money? I don't want your money. Keep making content, but disclose an inherent bias. 2 is right. Excluding Astro Tools specifically is a form of bias in itself. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Is excluding a brand a form of bias? I don't know. We'll let you know either way. I have a question. If you guys do prefer number 1, do you want me to disclose it in any category that Astro also makes? But let's say we're reviewing toenail clippers 2 years from now. Do you want me to tell you that I'm working at Astro? Let me know. Is there any way you can test hand tools for a grip? Carl says Astro shouldn't be sheltered from the bad results or the good. Oh man. Well, honestly, if you guys know of a bad Astro tool that we can test, put it in the comments and I'll make sure we do that next. What does your 5 to 10 year vision of yourself and your family look like? Does it involve Astro? It does involve TTC. I don't have a 6-month vision that involves TTC. Let me tell you guys how this channel started. A virus came out of China. I don't know if you've heard about it. And it got everyone stuck at home and or out of work. No one was driving cars, so no one was working on cars, at least for a brief period of time. And my wife got sick of me because all of my hobbies involved being outdoors and being with people and stuff I couldn't do anymore. So I started testing these at the shop, and you guys started watching. So that's how this channel got here. And I didn't have a long-term plan for this, I'll be honest. And so if 6 months from now we don't exist, it's not going to be the end of my world. If 2 years from now TTC still exists, that's great too. But this is the type of stuff ultimately I want to do. I love tools. I love impact wrenches. They're sort of in my blood. And I would love to work on tools rather than just, pull the trigger and shake around for 15 seconds for you guys. Will there be more 1/4-inch impact driver tests? Felix with a PH. Yes. We've bought a few more. I've tested a few more, some that really suck and surprised us. But I don't want to make videos where it's just about, hey, these tools suck. We want to put some other tools in them that are good. We never want to end a video on a bad note of like, I wish this tool didn't suck so much. So, not that we ever say they suck on in the actual videos. So we've tested a few purchases. Now we need to buy some that are better but similar price point and continue down that road. Some are very good that we've tested, and they're so good I can't class them in with some of the worst ones. So sometimes we'll shoot footage and 3-4 months later I haven't made a video with it because we're trying to pair stuff together that makes sense. But sorry, that was a long way of answering your question of yes. And especially since Astro doesn't make an impact drivers, if we do keep making videos, you're going to be seeing a lot of impact drivers. Even though it's kind of silly to be tightening a 1-inch bolt with a 1.5-inch socket with an impact driver, but you guys seem to like it. So I would disclose in every video, perhaps verbally in videos where Astro makes tools in the category. That's a good idea. Is there a website or a way to request current spreadsheet comparisons? Okay, yes. You know what? Anyone in the chat right now, just email me at torquerank@gmail.com, and you will have a link to all of our lists that predate this dramatic transition into the new shape of the channel. So email literally anything. You could say hi to torquerank@gmail.com, and you will get a link. I'm going to set that up in a second. Let me do that right now. All right. So as of 1 minute from now, email anything, curse words, doesn't matter, to torquerank@gmail.com, and you will get a link to every single one of our rank lists. I don't know if that's a mea culpa or what, but you asked about it, so everyone should have it. Get the Metabo triple hammer 36-volt impact driver. That's a good idea. I don't know how long you'll be going to the live stream, but I want to say congratulations on both the job. Thank you, Tommy. I really appreciate that. How long have I been on? I haven't even... Am I just talking to myself right now? Sorry, guys. I don't know how long I've been on. But it's our 1 year anniversary, and made the decision, and I don't want you guys hearing about it from, you know, Astro being proud about this rather than me or something like that. So just wanted to tell you guys as soon as possible. My 2 cents. My life would have a graph ranking sized hole without this channel. Trey says 53 minutes. Well, I'm sorry for that, guys. I'm sure not all of you have been here for an hour, but I can wrap this up if you guys want. I've never done a live stream, so I will be posting this, saving it down for public record of TTC selling out. And you can share it on the interwebs and show how everyone now TTC sold out, and it'll be public record for everyone to see. Will you be able to test 3/8 impact wrenches? Oh man, we've got some good SHIT for you guys in 3. There is, man, when I say to number 4, there's stuff we've already shot that I want to show you guys. That includes some 3/8 really good action. We test 1/2 inch versus 3/8 impact wrenches. Is there a difference? And it's like freaking mind blown. We talked to Milwaukee and they're like, we've never seen this. Love to show you this. Arisaka says, what is the email address again? Torquerank, no space, torquerank, RANK @gmail.com. Doesn't matter for the next, hour. Doesn't matter what you type in the email. You're going to get a reply with a link to all of our rank lists. That will grow too. And if we stop making videos, I'll just dump all of our data of everything we've shot, which is probably another 15 episodes worth of material, into that rank list, and you guys can just do whatever you want with it. Adrian Brackman says, I'd like some testing on Metabo HBT tools, formerly Hitachi, since their tools have lifetime warranties. Aiden, check out our Metabo HPT high torque video. That includes the plug-in wall adapter. We've tested their compact that I haven't fit in a video yet, and we plan to test 2 more Metabo HPT tools in the future if we're still making videos. Have you thought about testing butterfly impacts? They kind of suck. I don't think anyone's made a new butterfly impact since the Clinton administration, so they all make about 60 beans. It's just, unfortunately. Just tuned in. What is happening? What are you doing? Craig, several months back, we had an opportunity to take a position at Astro Tools. They make impact wrenches as well. And we waited to the channel being a year to make a decision. Torque, the guy who started this channel, is going to be working in product development. So we're asking you guys what you want me to do with this channel. Stop making content. Make content but without Astro. Keep making content but nothing that Astro makes, like impact wrenches. Stop making content but release everything you've already shot, or just sayonara, I don't want to hear from you again. All of these are fine, guys. There's no like bad option. We're cool at the end of the day, I don't rely on this YouTube channel for my life to exist. So just let me know honestly what you guys feel. That's fine. Can you test 1/4-inch impact wrenches? Not on our current dyno. We need to have, well, I mean, we make for a I'm gonna work for a company that can custom make sockets, so I guess it's possible. But our last sockets cost the channel about $220 a piece to make 3/8 drive impact rated sockets that are 38mm or 1.5 inch hex. So to do that again for 1/4 inch is even more tricky. Felix with a PH says, could you make a video with all the extra batteries you have, opening them up and showing what brand and there are channels who've done this better, and for a large part, this pretty public record what cells go into these, unless you guys have theories that I've heard some people say that Ryobi is like moving away to less useful, lower discharge rate cells. But it's pretty public record, any of these main brands we got here, that you can find out what cells go inside. I mean, maybe except for Hercules, because no one just cares. But yeah, we could do that. It's just not super interesting. Astro is a solid company. I agree, but obviously biased now. Keep it going. Can't wait for a 3/8 M12 stubby. Calvin, I got pardon me. I got some bad news. We have not tested a 3/8 M12 stubby yet, but we can. It's just, I think it won't be that different. Why not weld a 3/8 adapter? We don't want to have two pieces that are interfacing each other that we weld together. Other channels have done it well, but then they still question their own results from it. We just don't want to have to question our results. Just extra content for when you're waiting for stuff to arrive. Oh, on the batteries, got you. Option 1 all the way. Carl B says, in the torque stick testing, do you guys come across Koken lug nut sticks? Koken is legit. Love Koken. We've come across them, but it is not one we've purchased. I think we purchased freaking 4 brands, including Snap-on. So when we purchased them, which is a couple months ago, and we've been doing testing since, it was as much money as we had to spend at the time on any tools. So we were like, we have $280 to spend on our next episode, and we just bought all of the torque sticks we could with that. So hope that suffices. Chris Boog, keep testing everything as you have, as long as you're truthful, content, honest. Thanks, Chris. Calvin says, gotcha. Matthew, just disclose if you test Astro tools. Congratulations. Thank you. I appreciate that. Iceberg, I think number 1, the fact that you're willing to stop because of possible bias. I mean, I would want to keep going because I'm a curious SOB, and I might be testing these tools even if I stop making videos, because I have a problem, guys. I buy too many tools, and I want to know which one wins. But if you guys want to join and watch that too, that would be great. But it doesn't need, the world is going to be fine without TTC if we get rid of it. I would vote for option 2. Keep making content, but nothing Astro. Got it. Is Makita 18 or 40 volt better? Because I was thinking Makita 18 volt is for my cars. Which one is better? Lag bolts. If you're talking lag bolts, just stick to LXT, Gunner. I mean, this is an opinion. I don't offer a lot of opinions. It's usually just about the beans. But if you come to me with something like lag bolts, I don't know why you need 40 volts. Some of the stuff I come across, chassis bolts, Honda crank bolts, I honestly do need the 40 volt impact wrench. But if it's construction, I don't really see the appeal unless you're using some SDS rotary hammer that you need 80 volts from Makita's new XGT line. Have you tested the Mako MT2619? I don't know my Mako model numbers as well as you, Paul. You'll have to let me know what that is. But my guess would be no, because I don't recognize the model number. Option 1 all the way. Iceberg put it best. Thanks, Shane. You can test Astro tools against other model Astro tools. I mean, that might be pretty boring. No question, number 1, says Michael. David, hey guys, I need your channel for education. Don't end your channel. You are an important contributor. I mean, oh, air hammer, Paul. Yes, we have tested one. I was going to be working on that video maybe in a week, maybe 10 days from now is when I had scheduled to start working on that. I've shot the footage though. So to the point about it being educational, it wasn't ever meant to be a public service channel. Obviously, this is just stuff I wanted to know, and that's why I created it. But it's sort of become your guys' channel more than ours. So that's why we're putting these questions to you guys. I feel you guys should be the ones who determine what we test next, how we test it, if we test it, and what we disclose every video. Because just a reminder, there's 250 people in chat, but like some of our videos have 60, 70,000, 80,000, 90,000 views. So it's important going forward, if we're going to test something, that people know who's telling them this stuff. You know, I don't want to feed anyone a load of BS. Option 3, which is keep making content, but nothing of similar category. I would miss impact wrenches, but I hear you. Can you do nut busting tests, pre-torquing various nuts? Oh, James, don't open that can of worms. Nut busting testing is BS, but if you all do it identical across brands, like Tim at Shop Tool Reviews, if you want to see nut busting, subscribe to Shop Tool Reviews. If you keep the tests identical and across brands, you can do some nut busting tests, but every brand does it differently. I was talking to an engineer who was contracted by DeWalt to work on one of the impact wrenches we recently showed on the channel, and he says their nut busting is determined with a digital strain gauge affixed to a static object fed with a PC controlled power supply, not even a battery. So we're not going to be able to replicate that. And on the other end of things, we're not going to be able to replicate the exact bolt setup that some brands that do it a quote legit way do. So there's no way we can point fingers anywhere in between on nut busting claims, I think. How do you feel about option 2? I'm fine never testing an Astro tool again if that's what you guys want. Or the chat had a very good idea. If we test Astro, it would only be from user supplied, viewer supplied samples, because there's no way to prove that we purchased it rather than it being some mythical exemplar sample that we're testing. May you please test the old dad's impact wrench Integral rant. Check out our first 2 videos. That's exactly what the premise of this channel. Patrick says you don't show up in the comments. I don't know how I'm reading this then. Sell your batteries and tools you don't need. We have probably resold, I want to say between 30 and 40% of the tools we've tested. Not the batteries, because, you know, that would be a weird assumption and we'd never test that brand again. So as soon as we buy batteries, even if it's Hercules, we keep them around. The tools, I would say 30 to 40% we have resold. And that was just to fund the next video. You know, if we go to make the next video and people are like, you got to buy this new tool that came out, and we have 0 in the bank account, we sell some tools and then we show you the new ones. Not testing Astro tools doesn't make sense to me. Bias can be a two-way street. I get that. If we explicitly leave them out, that's a form of bias too. It's a difficult thing to navigate. Viewers have trust you anyhow. It's not more likely that you show bias now compared to previous taking a bribe. That's true. I mean, this whole process, we haven't accepted any money. We get emails with the amount of money they want to pay us in the title. I'm sure other YouTube channels do too. They are like collaboration with Torque Test Channel, X dollars, company name. And you open it and they're like, first 2 sentences, they're like, we want to pay you this amount of money. By the way, we have this new tool coming out. I hope you'll give it a fair shake. So if we haven't done that from day 1, then yeah, we're not planning on selling out now, but that's still up to you guys. I have never considered Ryobi impacts. Well, you probably should. Until watching this channel. I've never considered Ryobi to be any good until the HP 1 Plus came out. And now that's changing our minds. The new high torque I like a lot for its size, even though we sort of traded emails with Ryobi about their assumptions about batteries being wrong. But Tristan says, I can send you a tool to test and a bill to pay. We're still trying to pay our own bills. But we always love tests. Send me an email at torquetestchannel@gmail.com. I was wondering, because I'm going to have a 40 volt for miter saw demo. Is Astro what South Main Auto use? Astro does, I mean, South Main Auto does use a lot of Astro. That's a good question. All right, guys. About 5 minutes, I'm going to log off. I appreciate you guys joining me in the middle of the day for you. I don't know. For an impromptu live session where we immediately sold out after becoming a year old. So I apologize that if that's tarnished the channel at all. We really, really do respect all of your guys' opinions on this. And honestly, it's your channel more than ours, so we're going to do whatever you want. You don't have to tell me right now. I mean, thank you for saying the one and stuff. But we're going to be reading. Patrick, it's 7 a.m. That's not bad in New Zealand. What tools do you see TTC testing in 1 year from now? Can't answer that for you. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. As I say every video, thanks for watching. Honestly, thank you very, very, very much for watching. If we're not a channel a couple months from now, maybe this is my last opportunity to say I really appreciate you guys joining us for all the tool testing we've done. If we put out any, because I've put together a few videos already, if we put out any content that doesn't in the beginning of the video disclose that, you know, I'm associated with Astro now, it will at least be the pinned comment and in the description. But up to you guys whether you even want any more content. And honestly, that's not just, you know, putting a guilt trip. It's fine if you think we shouldn't stop making content. I absolutely understand it. That's the purpose of this live stream. So just gonna read a couple of these last ones. I'm good with 1 or 2. Love your channel and your past performance demonstrate. Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us, or joining me. Tess is at work. I was gonna be at work, but I wanted to head in after showing you this. I didn't even I got a pile of tools over here. I'm sorry. Let me just grab one at least that hasn't been on the channel for everyone who's like, I don't know. Let me grab one. So this is the last big purchase we had. If you're not familiar with this tool, this costs more than having a new baby, and our tool truck, high torque's any good. We plan to answer that for you in the next 2 weeks or so with Mac tools. Snap-on, who we borrowed Mac from CP the Tool Addict. Please check him out. That's a great channel. We borrowed the Snap-on from Powerstroke Jude. The channel purchased this Matco, and we've been using it for 3 weeks, almost a month now, because all the other tool truck high torques that we've tested were used as well. So we wanted to put this through the paces. They've all been impressive for their own reasons, and I'd love to show you that. Luckily, we made all of that content before this happened, except as this position, and it really busts up the rank chart. So hope you guys will tune into that if we put that out, or we'll at least just put it on the rank charts for all of you who have the rank charts if you don't see a video on it. Thanks again. I really appreciate you guys joining us. Going to be signing out.